Hi, guys, and welcome back. Anyone who follows my content on a regular basis will hear me refer to frequently the concept of self awareness and how important it is. However, what exactly do I mean when I use the term self awareness? Well, first up, I'm going to talk about personality. We're all born with innate characteristics. I mean, some of us are more extrovert than others, some of us are more neurotic than others. That's me. Some of us are more open, some of us are more agreeable. And the thing is, there is no right or wrong when it comes to personality. You have to work with who you are. And the more you work with who you are, the better off you're going to be. I mean, I was always under the impression that being more chilled and laid back was the way to go, that it would make me more likable. And as a result, I would find myself trying to present a very chilled out persona, whereas in fact I'm quite neurotic, you know. And because I was fighting against my natural self, I always felt like I was in a state of confusion and ambiguity. And as a result, I didn't get to truly shine as the person that I was. And the reality is, the more in touch I am with the neurotic side of myself, the more at one I am with others, the more relaxed I can be. Second, I'm going to refer to your general strengths and weaknesses. Now, when it comes to our strengths and weaknesses, we tend to be quite egoic when it comes to what we're good at, and then we are almost ashamed of what we're not good at, rather than viewing them all compassionately and trying to work on both your strengths and your weaknesses, seeing yourself as a whole unit. As I said, we all have our darker side, we all have things that we're not so strong at, and that's okay. That makes us who we are. Thirdly, I'm going to talk about attachment. Now, this is generally referred to in terms of your romantic relationships. However, as far as I'm concerned, your attachment style dictates how you engage with the world in general. And the theory generally says that when you grow up, if you are in an environment where your primary caregiver is very reliable, stable, where you feel secure and loved all of the time, you will build the confidence to be autonomous, to be independent, but also to trust other people. And these are the traits you will experience as an adult. On the other hand, if you are brought up in an unstable environment where you feel unloved, where you feel that you cannot rely on your caregivers to be there for you, that's the assumption you make about the rest of the world and your relationships. So you kind of feel like as if it's very hard to trust relationships, to trust the world in itself. And the thing is, this can be worked on. However, if you don't recognize your attachment style, it can result in you either being avoidant with other people or being very clingy and insecure. So, again, creating an awareness of your attachment style is really important in how well you can navigate your way through life, through relationships. Next up, then, is your triggers and that which you feel a need to avoid. Now, these are huge. Your triggers are emotional responses to current day situations which are very much based on past experience, you know, whether it be trauma or whether it be some negative experience in either your childhood or in any time in your past, and basically you're responding to current situations with an extremely intense response that isn't necessarily appropriate for what's going on. And we all have them, and triggers are really, really uncomfortable. They're that horrible feeling that make us want to run, or that make us want to either eat or drink or, you know, look at porn or whatever it is that we can do to avoid dealing with what is going on internally. However, the thing is, as long as we let our triggers run riot, they will run our lives. It's so important that we get in touch with what it is that we haven't healed, that we process it, that we heal it, and then we transcend it so that it can no longer hold us back, so that it can no longer affect the way we perceive the world, the way that we perceive other people. Because ultimately, we can be judging people in our lives based on something that happened to us 20 years ago, you know, and that's no way to live. So it's about being able to sit with the uncomfortable feelings, resolve them, and move beyond them. Next up, I am going to talk about your values and your needs. I mean, it's so important that we get in touch with who we stand for as a person. I mean, from the day we're born, we're kind of given these ideas of what we need to do in order to gain attachment, in order to gain approval. And as a result, we're always conforming to what our family, our society expect of us. And we often lose sight of who we truly are as a person, what our core values, what our needs are. We're also given this message continuously that to have needs is to be needy. And I mean, the reality is to have needs is to be human. So it's about being okay with what your needs are and being able to verbalize them in a healthy manner, so that they are met. But it's also recognizing the needs of others. Which brings me on to your love style and your style of conflict. I mean, we all have ways that we like to be treated. We all have ways of conflict that we find easier. And the more we are aware of these, the more we can ask for our needs to be met in our day to day life. When you're able to talk to somebody about the way in which you understand love, whether it be words of reassurance, whether it be physical touch, whether it be acts of service, or whether it be, like there's a few others, I can't think of them now on the spur of the moment, but I mean, when you understand what it takes for you to feel good, then you can ask for that need to be met. Similarly, with your conflict style, some of us like to run from conflict. Some of us like to bury our head in the sand. Some of us need time to work through what's actually going on for us on an internal level. And some of us we just respond straight away. We're very outwardly exertive and aggressive. And it's about getting in touch with the way you respond when you feel under threat and learning how to do it a little bit better, but also learning how to ask others to understand you a little bit better. Because ultimately, if you can find ways to compromise in your conflict style, if you can find ways to be empathetic and understanding of others, then things will be resolved a lot quicker, instead of us all going around feeling like we have to hide our anger, we have to hide our emotions, and then blowing up over the smallest little things. So if you want to get through life a little bit better, it's about getting in touch with your authentic self. It's about getting in touch with who you are as a person and making peace with it, becoming accepting of it, and then, as I said, making the most of it. If you want to learn more about yourself as a person, get in touch with me on the website. It's fundamentals.ie, or get in touch through Facebook or Instagram. Both of those pages are called Fundamentals. You can catch me on my YouTube channel, which is Fiona Feely. Go subscribe. Lots of videos there on how to deal with mental health issues, how to find a more purposeful way of life, how to resolve relationship issues and life issues in general, how to deal with anxiety, and so on. So go check it out. Lots of valuable information there. I've also recently released a podcast with Neil O'Brien. It's called Touchy and Feely. It's on iTunes and Spotify. So go check it out, subscribe, and let me know what you think.